Well, now we've exhausted everything you can possibly do with a set of front forks off a motorbike, let's look at exhausts. Why not? Because the options are endless. Endless indeed, and let's start with the obvious. If you've got something obvious like Honda CB750, etc., there are lots of options out there already made, manufactured by such people as Delkevic, and both Honda CB750s that I have done had Delkevic exhaust. First one was a 78 CB750. I opted to buy a Delkevic because I'd already heard a lot of good things about it. Second time around, it was a park build, kind of ran when parked type affair, and they'd already put a Delkevic on it. So great. That's not so much building a custom exhaust system as buying one. And here's a little video as to how good they are and how easy they are to fit. It's relatively lengthy, the clip that is, not the exhaust. So if you want to skip it and get onto the custom stuff, check out the chapters and boot it ahead. Alternatively, if it's exactly what you're looking for and you have a Delkevic and you want to fit it, keep watching. No surprise there then. Some pipes, yes. 4 pipes, some bracketry and an end pipe, presumably. Why, yes indeed. Good. Alright. See if it all fits. Prepare for swearing and cursing. 4 down pipes, a 4 into 1, and some connections and things. Kill. 4 crash gaskets, 4 things, springs, and a tool to put them on with. That's cool. So you're messing around with long nose pliers and snapping at your fingers. Various mounting things which presumably fit onto the standard frame. And some gunk. And some stickers. We like stickers. Yes, more thunder. Bollocks. No, I mean nuts. There's no nuts. Never fear. Nuts are here. Yes. They happen to be the right size. So we'll be using those and replacing them when we come to need to. Meantime, it's raining cats and dogs out there. Although the cats and dogs are all inside because they don't like the rain. Who came up with that saying anyway? I mean, it's not even rhyming slang. What does it mean? Well, thankfully, they're all numbered, which saves a lot of time, doesn't it? Trying one and then working out what goes where. Yes, that could have taken a month of Sundays. Well, issue number 1, which I'm afraid is the showstopper at this point, is that even without the crush gaskets, the studs aren't long enough. And they're pretty long studs, as exhaust studs go, right? Yeah. So that's fairly long as well. That's disappointing. Nice product, by the way. I mean, beautifully made. Yeah, yes. Talking of exhaust gaskets, of course, I hadn't removed the original ones, had I? Yeah. Okay, let's try again. The brain in gear. Well, still not much to play with, and that's without the crush gasket in there. But there's number 1 pipe on. I mean, just loosely in place. Because of course we're going to have to fit it and then unfit it and then refit it and then unfit it and then refit it for real. Pipe on. Good job it was the Yamaha, right? 4 cylinders. Could have been the Ducati. Then we'd have been in trouble. Well, Mr. Simpson's come to help, which can only mean one thing. It's dinner time. For cats, at least. Anyway, now they're on the right way around. So that's number 1 over there. 2, 3, 4. Okay. And down here, they're kind of coming together, I guess. That'll take some wiggling, but yeah, there you go. That's gonna kind of fit, yep, like that. Guess what? I started from the wrong end with the wrong number. Yes, as always. Anyway, let's rewind. So that looks like it might fit into that. Yeah, cool. Let's give it a go. Well, everything's a bit loose and wobbly up top, as you can imagine, because it's barely finger tight. But as you can see, it all kind of marries up and just about fits in there for the time being, and comes out at the right kind of angle there. So yeah, I think we'll call that a job done. A few flames shooting out the end, that won't matter. Don't need no stinking silencer. But yeah, for a test fit, I like that. I'm comfortable that I can get those exhaust gaskets in there, and jolly nice product, I have to say. Thanks to Delkevic, Iceland, full stop. I don't even know if they're from Iceland. I don't think they are. Anyway, yeah, very nice. Looking at the silencer, muffler, whatever you want to call it, it's going to end up about there. That bracket is going to end up about an inch forward, probably, by the time we tightened everything up. Obviously it's not even stuffed in there, so we've got an inch at least. Yeah, so that means this boy goes where exactly? Don't really want to drill a hole through that. I think you're gonna have to, though. And this is totally superfluous to requirements, unless actually I guess the bike came with, because the stand's on the other side, right? Stand, stop. I guess it came with a centre stand, did it? Yeah, most bikes in those days had both. So maybe it was. Can't imagine any self-respecting Caferacer builder ordering a Delkevic exhaust is going to have a centre stand, but there you go. Anyway, I think we'll worry about that bit later. I think we need to get the whole exhaust actually situated to this point at least. Because, I don't know if you remember, or if you watched the Suzuki, but that had pretty much straight through pipes, and it wasn't that loud, especially compared to the bloody Ducati. I think at this point I'm just gonna see what that sounds like when you fire it up like that, and then worry about this end of it later. Delkevic firing exhaust has been modified by Adam, hopefully, and it all should fit nicely. Lovely. So we just need to fit them all on, first of all, kind of loose, like this one is, so we can get them all joined up at the bottom, then make sure they're all marrying up at the top, in there specifically, and then we can tighten them all down. Sweet. And there we have it, roughly in place. Yeah. Okay, so there's still a certain amount of jiggling to be done. I'm not sure. That's a bloody long stretch for a spring, especially given the sizes of the springs that I've got. So these are only in probably not even 10 mil, so I guess I've got to wiggle that further along. That'll be fun. And at that point I think I'm gonna tighten these up a little bit more so that they're kind of more in place before wiggling that. They're all snugged up now to the crash gaskets without actually kind of crushing them. So now we need to sort out the other end. Like I said, there's a long way to go, I guess. A lot of help from the usual suspects. And we have one spring on. Just that top one, never gonna happen because these are all the same length. I think. Anyway, one's good. Let's see if we can do one the other side. Wow, I'm out of breath. This side was altogether easier. Top one just sailed on, bottom one a little bit more of a stretch, as you can see. So we got 3 out of 4 on. That's a good start, right? And honestly, I think it's a good finish because that's never going to happen. Oh, I might have a longer one that will reach that, but apparently not in the appropriately labelled box. I think there's some in here somewhere. Ah, yes, here they are. Okay, let's try some of these. No, they didn't work either. That's alright, it's good enough for me. It's the old 80-20 rule, or near enough. 75-25 to be precise. Either way, that ain't coming off. So, I've got to tighten those up, obviously. And of course, we need to work out whether we're going to put that actual finished rear end pipe on it or not. Yes, this one. Let's have a look at that one. Oh, I don't know. Yes, the actual silencer or muffler. Well, I mean, it fits on there nice enough. It's a question of how and where to mount it. It's getting dangerously close. The mounting on it is kind of totally irrelevant. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mount to. And our brake line is in the way, which if this system is specifically designed for the year which it's supposed to be, I don't know what they're thinking. Anyway, we have this bracket, which is obviously supposed to go something like that. So I suppose you're supposed to mount it on there. Or not. Maybe you just let it wiggle around. I mean, it won't wiggle around like that because obviously you're going to strap it on there. So that'll bounce around a bit. Don't like that. I prefer the idea of trying to mount it here somewhere, honestly. Or not at all. You know me. We don't need those stinking silencers. Loud pipes save lives. So at this point I shall just ponder it and we'll fire it up without it and see what it sounds like. I'm sure it won't be as loud as the Ducati. Okay, so that's that done ish. So yes, quality product, all fits together very nicely, thank you. What about if you can't use something off the shelf? What if you've got to create your own? Well, let's get creative. And I've done a number of these, so we'll just skip through them. All without welding, apart from one. And that'll be the first one, and my first project, the MV. I tossed and turned with a lot of different ideas about what I'd do, but at the end of the day, I just basically cut the exhaust system short at the join and welded on a couple of little pipes that pushed it out the side away from my leg, because I tried it without that and it was very, very hot. Simple solution, and simply very loud, 130 decibels to be precise. Over that, I think. Next up, Ducati Monster, same kind of deal, honestly, just cut it off where the ludicrously large cans that adorn the factory monster, and just bunged on some straight through pipes, which kind of looked alright. I don't know, looking back on it now, I'm not so sure. Chugging. Wow, that sounds good. Fire. No, it's alright. Just bolted on some bits that I found. So not really making a custom exhaust. When's he going to get onto that? Well, that's why we've been moving along amazingly swiftly for my usual ramblings. So the first one I really built anything custom-ish was the Kawasaki. Yes, that boy there. It still retains the original downpipes. And then what I did was buy a 2-into-1 connector from the UK. Custom built, obviously, to fit the outside diameter of the Kawasaki pipe. And then the inside diameter of these rather lovely little tail pieces, which are actually connectors, not actually exhaust pipes. These are designed to fit to some kind of muffler or silencer, but I live in Arizona and nobody gives a damn, so they don't fit to anything. But obviously if you wanted to fit a silencer on the end, you could, but I didn't. And again, no welding involved, simply something like this. Rather nice little clamp that seals it up all nice and tight, and looks pretty cool at the same time. So let's run you through that process. Yes, we're going to be looking at constructing a custom exhaust from various bits and pieces available to us, thanks to China and Great Britain. Well, they fit beautifully, which is a right result, so thank you Team GB. And when we look at the other end, we've got a discrepancy here, but I knew that was going to happen. And so these are pipes 1 and 2, and what I didn't do was cut that inner bore out of the ones that were not welded. Yeah, so I cut these ones and I just slit these out. So once we get everything kind of lined up back on the cylinder head over here, yes, it's all under wraps, we'll then adjust these accordingly so that this fits beautifully like it does. Then we're down to one pipe there, which, yes, that's supposed to fit the other pipe. Yes, these boys that came on the slightly faster boat from China, and they fit too. How sweet is that? Bit of a hole there. Might have to chop that out. So that's rather cool. This is all coming together nicely with no welding involved. So probably end up looking a bit like that, right? Because the two pipes will come into here fairly horizontal, I would think, and then this will flare out at a slight angle, and then we just need, well, I don't know if we need anything yet, but we might need a little silencer on the end. We'll see. So this here split kind of indicates that these are designed to go outside and then you clamp them on, and we got the reverse situation here. So what I'll probably do is cut this adapter down to here, just cut it straight off so there's no gap, and then what I'll probably do, maybe along the weld, is just put a split in these boys. I haven't got much room to play with, a small split, and then one of our super duper hose clips, one of these boys, clamped over that. So that's all jolly exciting. Right, let's trim these off. Obviously that was hot, and one should always wear gloves in these kind of processes, unless one has gnarly old fingers like me that are kind of made of asbestos or something. Right, time to clean them up, I guess. What should we start with? Well, let's get the worst of the grease and grime off. I think we'll just sand them a little, because we're going to have to paint them. Yeah, they're not pretty. And they're not going to get pretty in a hurry. And there's a few little dings and whatever. So, they're going black. Which is lucky, because we've got some black paint left. Do I want to paint them, or do I want to wrap them? I don't like exhaust wrap. It soon looks a bit shit. I did it on the Ducati Monster. I did it on the Suzuki GS550. It looked very cool on that. It's just a little bit of red. On the Ducati, it was just a little bit of gold here and there. And I don't think I want to do that on this, because I painted the Yamaha ones and they look good still, even though they've been kicking around the garage and I've been doing all kinds of stuff with them. Yes. So yeah, I think we'll just the option to wrap them later, like I did on the Ducati. Right, I painted it gold, it went salmon pink, so I wrapped it. So that's number 4 and number 3 in the Y, and here we are at the top. Again, a little bit of discrepancy, but a little bit of wiggling and whatever, and they're good, and they don't need welding. I mean, yeah, technically they probably do. It's a pretty bloody tight fit. Especially by the time we get a coat of paint on it. Unlike the Yamaha, it's not one unit, so I'm going to have to do each one individually, which is a little bit tedious. Anyway, I have a plan. Roughed up with some serious old sandpaper, and yeah, that, and then acetone, and now, yeah, hanging out to dry. Well, got to paint it first. Everything that needs to be covered is covered. Everything else will get a light coating of black, I suppose. Nice, 2 coats in as many minutes. And yes, just repeat the process 4 times. 3 down, 1 to go. Meanwhile, Mark these up for trimming, and still debating what I'm going to do about these in terms of melding the two together, because they do need some melding. I think I am going to split that down to there. Just put a little cut in, then we can put one of those clamps on and we're good to go. So there they are, all cut down and finished up on that, and then of course rat tail file for the inside, and yeah, it's my granddad's, still works. Okay, so there's those little cuts along the weld. Let's see if we want to clamp one up just for fun. Sweet, finally we got something the right bloody size, in stock as it were. So yeah, that fits. Okay, let's get the other bit. Sweet, that fits. All good, lovely. There we go, ready to rock and roll. How cool is that? Nice, love it. And there's the last pipe. Start number 3, that looks much better. All our carefully wrapped pieces. Gonna need some of them and some of those. Fit something like that. Yeah, you can just buy like an entire collar piece, a single piece, which I did debate doing. They weren't that expensive. I might still. But anyway, let's test fit them with the original ones, which we've painted up black as well. Not least of all, it'd be one less piece to juggle. So yes, I mean, we've got 4 pieces here already. So I've used a bit of tape just to hold those roughly in place, as you can see. See how that works out. Well, obviously it worked beautifully for the test fit, but it won't work for the actual fit because I can't get the tape off. Because it's buried in there. Yeah. Oh, I guess it would burn off fairly quickly, but we don't really want that. So I have to work out another way of doing it when it comes to the actual thing. But for now, that's good. Well, now we've got everything we need. And just in case the exhaust gaskets are like they were on the Honda and keep dropping out, I'm going to goop them in, because we're already juggling 4 pieces, right? We don't need to be juggling 5. Now we've got everything we need. Yes, we forgot the goop. Excellent, we're all gooped up with our gaskets. So the trick here would appear to be, obviously, I suppose, to use the green bit to push those 2 sleeves up against the end here, and then everything's in place. Then it's just a question of pushing it into the slot, getting it over the bolts, and trying to get the nuts on with your other hand. Yeah, easier. Well, it is easy, apart from, you know, getting your whichever hand in the limited space available to put the bloody nut on. But I managed it quite easily, I have to say. Alright, number 3 pipe on. Just needs, this time around, this doesn't add up, because the outer pipe is longer than the inner pipe, which is not how I remember it. But I think I might have had them on the wrong way the first time. So I had the 3 on the 4 and the 4 on the 3. So, what I'm going to do is definitely cut this outer pipe. I'm going to take like at least ½ an inch off it, so it does line up. That's more like it. Cool. Alright, let's put the other doofer on and see where it all lines up. Like that. Beautiful. Yeah, it certainly went on further on both pipes, and as you push it, obviously it kind of changes the angle and everything, which we'll have to bear in mind. Well, actually, I'm going to fit the other bit on the end, see where we need. The end game, we might need to twirl this round anti-clockwise a little bit if we're going to put a muffler silencer on and tie it up to that rear foot peg mount. But yeah, that can happen. It's a little bit short, honestly, with that in the way, to do that if we have to. But we probably won't have to. Yes, because this is Arizona, and we don't care about long hair. I mean loud pipes. Name that tune. Few marks, it's the further one rearward on the rearward pipe. But yeah, they're nice and even, and we've got plenty of meat to be able to drill a hole. So that's what I'm going to do. Does that sound crazy, drilling a hole in an exhaust pipe? If you haven't worked out that I'm crazy by now, then you need to catch up. And I think I'm going to use one of these boys. Yeah. I haven't really got much option, because obviously I can't get inside there. So I'm going to use one of the aforementioned good quality Milwaukee drill bits. Let's see how that goes. Well, that worked. And I could have probably used one size bigger on the drill bit, but I wanted to be conservative, so it was a bit of a bastard getting that in. But we got that. And that's going to screw up the next owner, of course, because that's a 5/16, not a metric size. God bless America. Anyway, yeah, good. So we're kind of there. I'm going to put the other bit on just for the hell of it. And that's one side buttoned up. I'll do the other side. I won't bother filming any of that because it'll be the same process. Hopefully a little bit easier with lessons learned. And there we go. All buttoned up on one side. And yes, the bolt is kind of under here. Yeah, because I posted this on the KZ Owners Forum or whatever the hell it was. And Tom pointed out that it would be a lot neater if the bolt wasn't visible here. Yeah, because everyone's eye level is fucking 6 inches off the ground. Not. Anyway, I have taken his advice. It's the attention to the detail. So there it is. One side of the exhaust system. Job done. Well, not. Unfortunately, there's no video of the Kawasaki running because it's not yet. There it is there. Yeah. But do check out that series in the playlist. And I hope to get it running very soon. And so finally onto the Guzzi. Another work in progress. Also to be started very shortly, I hope. So, first up, we just took the mufflers off and started it up just to see what it sounded like. Perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable. Indeed, with no mufflers, silencers whatsoever, by far the quietest yet. Very civilised. So, what are we going to do with the pipes? Not dissimilar to the Kawasaki, to be honest, with a little tweak. After initial clean-up, I think these are definitely going to have to be painted. So, matte black, red, and red wrap. Somewhat similar to what I did on the Suzuki GS550, and if you haven't watched that episode, I suggest you do. Episode? It was a whole damn series. Yes, and then these beautiful little tailpipes that we did on the Kawasaki. Assuming we can find some with the same diameter, if they're not already the same diameter. So we'll have to break these down a little bit more and clean them up a little bit more and paint them up a little bit more. Red wrap, that's the thing, isn't there? There you go. Lovely jubbly. So I've gone for the exact same end pipe, if you like, as I did with the Kawasaki. And that's interesting in itself because on eBay, that's like, well, actually I paid $14 for each piece. Whereas on Amazon, where you can return it, obviously, if it doesn't fit, but I'm fairly confident it will, it's a lot more. So there's all the bits ready to clean up there. I've cleaned one of the headers with acetone. And I'm now about to paint it with some high heat, 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. Hanging in the balance. There we have the finished article. One lovely matte black exhaust. Other one's already wrapped up safely. Ah yes, and the H-pipe, which we cleaned up and painted as well. Okay, what's next? Wrapping, I suppose. Right, let's get these cleaned up. And for that, we have a new machine. Exciting. As recommended by Moto Mango, so thanks for that. I'm excited. There it is, unboxed. No unboxing videos on this channel. What are they? Instructions? Don't need them. All right then. So that's interesting. Number 4, people with pacemakers should consult their physician before using this product. Do not abuse the power cord. Very sensitive individuals, power cords. Other than that, basically fill it up with lukewarm water, not too hot, and throw in 1/4 teaspoon. That's tiny, man. Of the powder, and set your timer and off you go. Filled with lukewarm water. No scalded cats here. Meanwhile, a teaspoon. Just nosy ones. Is that 1/4? Bit generous, I think. We've plugged it in. We have been very civilised to the power cord. No abuse whatsoever. And now we set the time. 180 is the kind of recommended average time. I guess we just plonk them in here. Like that. Just like that. Right, now what? I've upped it to 280. What the hell? Anyway, we are not going to use the TC, which is heat, because we don't know whether we need it or not. So let's give it a go. Doesn't appear to be doing very much. We shall see. Don't have any tongs. Think pliers will do. Sure, we can find something. Aha, the moment of truth. Look a lot like when they went in there. Let's have a look. Well, no, they are a bit cleaner, for sure. Alright. I think we need to do that again. Let's put them down there, empty all that shit out, and start again. Maybe second time around, full power and heat and everything. Let's go. Oh, I don't like messing around. Should have done this first time around, right? Well, you know what they say about a watch pop and all that, but there's not a whole lot of cleaning going on in there. Right, let's see what we got. Not vastly different from last time. Slightly unimpressed with my mango machine. All in all, I would have to say the results are disappointing. Wouldn't you? Still gonna have to get a wire brush and some. Yeah, not overly impressed with my first endeavour. Welcome any comments as to what I did wrong, if anything. I followed the instructions. I was very polite to the power cable. That's more the kind of cleanliness I was anticipating from our sonic cleaner. Anyway, we used our subsonic Black & Decker with some great attachments. I think the whole lot was like, I don't know, 15 bucks. I'll leave these as they are, bare metal, slightly tarnished. These we're going to paint red, right? Like we did on the Quacker, except obviously they're green. One makeshift spray booth. One can of red paint. Same paint we're going to try and do the frame with in another episode. So while we're doing this shaking thing with our hands, you've got time to subscribe if you haven't already. And of course give the video the thumbs up while you're there. As you can see, I've put on a rather liberal coating because it's all just going to trickle down to the bottom, and so the runs won't really matter. Well, those came out rather nice, I think. Yeah, lovely. I think they're going to look good. Next up, wrap. Except we're still waiting for our end pieces. And if you remember, we ordered those on the slow boat from China as opposed to Amazon next day, because they were cheaper. Turns out the slow boat from China is a lot faster than anticipated. So 2 weeks ahead of schedule, these have arrived. Lovely. Let's see if they fit. Well, the answer to that is no. They're exactly the same ID and OD as the pipe. I don't know what I was doing. I guess I was going off that end. They fit in there nicely. I see some welding in my future, because we have welding capability. Not the original plan, but you've always got to have a plan B. Eh, Marco? And then there's another alternative. Yes, this Flexi pipe that we've used in copious quantities on the bumper car. And it just happens to be the right ID for both pipes, obviously, because they're the same OD. I might try that first, see what that looks like. No, bear with me. It might look kind of funky. I have chopped our flexible friend. Something like that. Yeah. I don't mind it. I mean, you know, it's metal wrap instead of red wrap. Let's bolt it up, see if it actually tightens. Well, it's certainly tight enough, and I don't mind that at all. We finished painting the frame and the engine and put all the oil lines back in. There's no reason that we can't fit the exhaust, right? Monkey agrees. It's time to put the exhaust on. Obviously, that's going to be fairly simple up the front end, just a question of bolting it back in. And then fixing that H-frame to the downpipes, the headers. But then we got to worry about how do we fix it at the back end, right? Because otherwise it's all hanging off the engine cylinder at the end. So essentially what I'm talking about is that it's going to hang off these two bolts here and these two bolts here, and that's it for the moment. Because it would have gone back and and probably tied up somewhere there on the frame, but it's only going to like here. So we need to work out some way of mounting it at the back, right? Because you don't really just want it hanging off those 4 bolts at the front. That's probably not good. First step is to clean them up a bit, and I know we've painted them and everything. What's he talking about? Well, you might remember these were a little bit difficult to get off, and we had to employ the help of our dear friend Mike. He's a little bit stronger than me. So what we're going to do is just wire brush inside there, get it all nice and clean and free of any bits and pieces that might hinder us putting the downpipes in there. As always, it's a matter of which thing to do first, step by step, right? And I think it's probably best to put the downpipes into the H there before I fit them to the bike itself. Just because that's going to involve a certain amount of manhandling and brute force, and I must remember to put those on first as well. And then once we've got that all together, we can wiggle them around and make them fit the actual cylinder. Yeah, nice shiny new painted red clamps. Yeah, lovely. And of course the crash gasket. Monkey's going to have to find somewhere else to sleep. Crash gaskets in place, ready to receive. And of course we've got to put those on as well, like so. One exhaust system ready to go back on, I think. Yeah, just tape that up there so stop it rattling around and chipping the paint and stuff. Just snugging this up so that it doesn't slip about really. But we need to be able, not too tight, that we can't move the pipe around. Right, let's see if we can slot it back in. Alright, we slid it underneath. We have all the necessary gear here, some new nuts, and these boys, which basically go there, like that. Clamp down that little crush gasket we got in there. This is, of course, where you need 6 pairs of hands, but I shall just manage with the 2 that I was given. So I've used whatever I could find kicking around, some old wine bottle packaging and some cushions to raise the back end there, just enough to help me get these up here at roughly a right angle. I knew this was going to be fun. I've already smacked my head on the handlebars. Might be a little delirious. Alrighty, that's one side just ever so slightly in place. I don't know, probably not even 2 turns on those, so it's quite precarious at the moment. Okay, issue number 1 as we come around to the other side. These are getting in the way of the sump there, so we need to spin them round, both sides obviously. As you can see, things are hotting up here. I've taken off my sweatshirt. Oh, I'm getting quite warm doing this. The problem we have here is, in order to clear that bolt with that, it's fouling on this nut here. So I'm going to have to disconnect the downpipe here, which I didn't want to do. Put the downpipe on and then join that back up there. Like I said, didn't want to do that. Alright, we're kind of in. This boy was also fouling on there, so we had to switch that round to the bottom. Not sure what to do next, because I've got to get that in properly, obviously, which is not. I think what I'm going to do is tighten these up, not massively tight, but just so that they're snug, not going anywhere, no wobble involved. That way I've got something to push against at least, hopefully. This side is in, which is good, so obviously it's a bit wonky at the moment. For those of you who don't know, wonky is a technical term for slightly not parallel. Time for a little gentle persuasion with Thor, the rubber hammer. Well, we got there in the end, didn't we, monkey? Yes. Yeah, a little gentle persuasion, as I said, and there it is, all hooked up, and all hooked up at the front. Everything just snugged up at the moment, nothing super tight. Kind of like it, right? Sweet. And actually, I don't think we need any rear support after all. There's a possible hole there to mount something to around here if we need to. I don't think we do, honestly. It's fairly bloody solid. So I think we'll probably just tighten everything up. Yeah, so I haven't crushed those crush gaskets yet. Well, that looks rather sweet, I think. Yes, indeed, folks. Job done. I like it. So I guess that's a wrap, if you'll excuse the pun. Actually, we didn't cover wrapping an exhaust. I've got a couple of instances. I might make a short video on that if it's of any interest. So on that note, I think we'll call it a day. If you thought the video was any good, give it a thumbs up, please. It all helps. Subscribe down there if you haven't already. And of course, encourage others to watch my lunacy.